Okay, how's everybody doing today? This is Lonnie playing Ark, and I want to go over a few things. I know I went over the steampunk stuff a little bit last time. This is a tannery. It's required. It makes leather. Everything in steampunk, there's going to be two things that you need to harvest: is leather and stone. If you can harvest those two things, everything else you can get, because you can make gunpowder and wood. You're going to need wood. Stone you'll get from these drills. Okay, which they require. See, now the drill bit is broke on this one. So you just put some gunpowder in it, right? Like there's a little bit left in here, so. But I have it mining crystal, and you see it's already done 15 crystal, right? So, I mean, it actually does really well at mining crystal. So if you have a good spot to mine metal at, then you just set up your drills to mine crystal. Now this is for the steampunk mod, right? So, of course I have my turret defenses up. Now on the S Plus they have a couple things here. Here's the farmer, right? And he requires Callian soup to run, and what he'll do is he takes, you have your fertilizer bins down here, right? He'll take the poop from your animals, put it in the fertilizer bin, then he takes the fertilizer, when it turns into fertilizer, and he fertilizes all the plants, right? So now I have about 5 snails downstairs. So this is a animal tender, and what it does, it takes kibble to run. So what you do is you put it in, and what it does, it collects stuff off of animals that produce things. It'll collect oil off the squid. It'll collect, I use it for the cementing paste off of snails, right? So because once a snail reaches 100, it'll stop producing cementing paste. So unless you're on like every 2 hours, right, you're gonna miss out on it, you know, this just, it makes the game a little bit easier because you don't have to do all the grinding that's required. Now this is what's called a collector, right, and it runs off of propellant. And what it does is it collects any dropped from the snails, anything dropped like eggs and things like that. And this is just going to make life a lot easier, right? Now, another mod that the administrator put on here, which was very nice, is the Eco Terrarium. And I'll show you a couple of these, right? Like here's the fish terrarium, right? Here's the snow biome terrarium. Right, now you see my windows here, these are steampunk windows. So and I also use S Plus. So I'm trying to finish out my floors, and I'll show you the this is it runs off a beer. It's called the Gardener, and you can see it's gone through quite a few beers here. But what it does is you set up your garden, and it pulls everything out of your garden and it stores it, right? So like I already have 100,000 narco berries, right? And all this and the seeds and all that stuff. So it actually does really well for pulling all the stuff out of the crop plots for you, and it's really handy. So let me come down here. Let's see, I was showing you the terrariums. So I've built a few floors on here, so you know, this is the penguin habitat terrarium, right? They have all kinds of cool things that you could make here, right? Desert terrarium, you know, and then they have, I haven't figured out what I want to put these on yet, like a table or something. So, and then this is my top floor. I'm trying to make it like a, no, this isn't my top floor yet, but you know, you have the beaver habitat, So you got beavers here. This is another desert terrarium. Here's the cave terrarium. It's really, they got some really cool stuff, right? Quetzal habitat. I haven't figured out exactly where I'm going to put all these, right? There's the little Quetzal up there. And then I have a top floor here that I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do yet with it. I'm trying to make it like a round top, but I haven't figured out quite like how to do that yet. So I'll have to get back with you later. There's the airship again. I built that. We might take a tour of that here real quick. So I want to show you a few things that S Plus offers that are very handy, and they make your life playing Ark a lot easier. So there's another one that will actually take care of your little ones, right? Let's go over to where we hatch out eggs and stuff, and I'll show you. Okay, sorry about that. Sometimes the teleporter, it will cause my client to crash. So anyway, this is where we're in Viking Bay over here. And we call it the Ice Base because the guy who has this base, his name is Ice. So you can see it's starting to turn daylight here. We have our Bronto out here. The other Bronto we still have, it has the skeleton skin on it. So we tried taming Gollum, and I don't know, it didn't work out that well. So it seems like we're killing it. We have a shark pen over here. We have some sharks. Here's our Bronto with the skeleton skin on it. We have this set up because the doggone scorpions come up out of the water and they will sting the crap out of you. So they kill you. They don't kill you. They poison you instantly. So anyway, back to the S Plus and the steampunk stuff. Now we have what's called here the nanny, right? The S Plus nanny. Now what it does, you have to use honey to get it going. And it will, as long as you keep meat and berries and things like that in it, whatever the animals eat, it will feed the babies, right? Now, imprinting, I'm not quite sure how well it does that. But, because I haven't, like, I think you have to put, like, all the different kibbles in there for it to imprint or whatever. I'm not sure about, like, if the dino has to go for a walk or cuddle or whatever, right? So I haven't played with that too much, but as far as babies go, it works really well, right? Feeding them, it works really nice. So of course, and we have a collector here again. Now in steampunk, we're going to take out all the feces out of here, which it collects from all these animals, right? Now normally it would put that in the bins and the dung beetle, right? And make fertilizer out of it, but we have a lot of fertilizer right now. So in steampunk, what you do is this is the press. And what you got to do is you got to put rotten meat and hide in there. And when you add feces to it, right, it starts making oil. So it will make you oil, which is good. You just have to keep, like, see, this is the meat spoiler. So you take your spoiled meat and you dump it in here. You can either make that with it, or your and the nice thing about it is it causes it not to spoil at all, right? There's no timer on the spoiled meat, which is nice. So of course up here we have one artifact. Now this is the base that I built, and I have a few terrariums in here. I'm hoping he adds the other echo mods here pretty soon. Of course, I have a farmer here for them also, and it's collected quite a bit of stuff. I got to refuel it, make more beer, right? Let's see if we have beer ready over here. Take these empty jars, go over to one of these. There's some beer. Hey, look at that. So you transfer jars over there, right? You take the beer out. I got to just make more jars. And these are glass jars, and then you go like this, and then you say, let me reactivate it. Sometimes when there's a major update, I noticed with the S Plus stuff, you sometimes have to deactivate it and reactivate it to get it working again if there's a big update on Ark. And sometimes you have to actually pick it up, right, empty it out, pick it up, and put it back down to get these things to get working again, which is, it's just one of those weird things that, and just be warned about that, right? If there's an update or anything, check your farmers and your collectors and all that, and make sure that they're working properly, right? And see, we've already got, how many is that, 10,000 berries there, plus, right? And so you got plenty to make, narcotic with, right? Because once a berry bush makes so many berries, it stops. Well, this causes it to continuously produce berries. So you'll have, because it collects it constantly. So anyway, this is the steampunk generator that hooks to the press. It's kind of a weird, you put your press down on a water pipe to make sure it's irrigated, and then you have to put your generator next to it. There's no snap point. You have to put it next to it, so it's kind of hard to line up and all that stuff. So, and this is the steampunk refrigerator, and it produces these blocks of ice. But in doing that, you can make what's called the ice slushy, okay? And that's with the steampunk mod. Right, and with the ice slushy, when you eat an ice slushy or give it to an animal, your speed increases drastically for about 5 minutes. So, you know, I'm not sure if it's 5 minutes or 3 minutes, but we carry ice slushy with us when we're mining and stuff. Now, this doggone thing is the copper industrial smoker, and you got to keep oil and coal in it, right? And now the good thing about this is when you have the doggone, if you're hunting a lot and getting a lot of organic polymer, now we have stacks on this, right? So we stack stuff up pretty high. Like this is 602. So with stacks or ultra stacks or whatever is on here, this will keep polymer, right? Now this has got 29 minutes left, but it'll normally do it for several hours, right? This helps with preserving organic polymer. And these cookers, they cook the meat down really, really fast. But if you leave the meat in there and let it cook, it makes this material, which is belladonna residue, which it gives a strange effect. It heals you very fast, it makes you run very fast, and it makes you hit really hard. So try it. It's kind of a weird thing. You can also give it to your dinosaur and it'll give them extra oomph, right? So try it out if you got a steampunk one. So anyway, and let me show you this over here. We built a trap, and the really cool thing about the S Plus is that, look at this, you have a trank turret, right? So you load it up with tranks, okay? Now, what you could do is you could set your options, right? Give it a second. Now, you could either, here's exclusion, or you can include, right? Now, by default, it shoots everything, which everything is turned off, and so nothing is excluded, right? If there's something that you don't want to shoot, you would choose what you want to exclude. If there's things that you want to shoot, you would switch this over to inclusion, right? Let's say you're taming, you know, I don't know, a Brontosaurus, right? And you would select Brontosaurus here, and you say include, and it will only shoot the Brontosaurus. And the other S Plus turrets are set up that way also. So, but we have a taming pen where we take our dragon and we drop stuff in here. And then we come up here and we turn these on. And they just shoot the crap out of it, right? And so we go, it makes taming really easy. So that's a big plus, right? So, did I go over, let's see, I went over most of the S Plus stuff. Now, the other S Plus things in there is a cannon turret, which I haven't tried out, a flamethrower turret, and, now the only other thing is the regular turret is supposed to run off gasoline, and I don't know if the author or the administrator has that turned off or not, because they stopped running off of gasoline, right? Like, I should be able to come here, right? I have this set here because things drop through here, right? And there should be a thing on here that says switch to gasoline, right? So the only thing I got is these options here. Warning, right? Range. You could set it now, since this is a PvE server, I have it set to wild only, but you could set it here, which is really nice. You could set it to all kinds of, right, and you got, of course, the exclusions and the inclusions with that. So it makes it really nice trying to work with this. So anyway, that's the quick tour of the S Plus, and that's what we use to kind of, we use the S Plus to kind of take away a little bit of the daily grind of, you know, just like picking up fertilizer, picking up poop, right? Moving fertilizer, you know, fertilizing the plants, right? All that kind of stuff can be done by these collectors and things with S Plus, which makes it real nice to, it makes it a little bit easier to play, right? So, anyway, that my beaver's falling through the ceiling up there. But, so anyway, you know, that's about it. That's all that I got going on right now. I will make a separate video on the airship and stuff. I got a little balloon. I haven't made the rhinoceros yet, and I'm hoping that they update. I don't want to mess with the airship too much till they update it. I was able to get a generator on it, but I can't get, it does it as a platform, and I can't get a teleporter up there. So, anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and everybody have a good evening.